There's something unnerving about synths. Never know if one's going to spring to life.
Nick's right there, Codsworth. And there's still a cow on the roof. Ooh. He's out there.
My old man taught me that duct tape could fix anything. I don't think he was talking about bullet holes.
Preston thought you might be able to figure out these plans for me.
Sure thing. Let's see what you've got.
Could you build it? Here you go.
Here you go.
Wow. What a mess. Looks like, encrypted RF transmissions. Okay, so that gets routed through... What the hell? Teleportation. This is some pretty crazy shit. You sure it's for real?
It's real.
It's real. I got it from an ex-Institute scientist.
Seriously? I didn't know you could be an ex-Institute anything and still be breathing. Anyway, the eggheads never think about the nuts and bolts of actually making something work. But, looks like it's all here. Yeah, I'm gonna need some time to study this thing. The handwriting's pretty hard to make out. But, you can get started on what he calls a stabilized reflector platform. It'll need some pretty high-grade metals, but it's basically not that different than the lining of a jet engine or something like that.
Good job.
Good work, Sturgis.
Well, don't thank me yet. I think I got the gist of it, but it's gonna take some time to work out the details of some of the hairier sections. Here's a list of what you'll need for the first piece. I'm pretty sure we've got all that at Sanctuary, if you want to build it there. While you're working on that, I'll get busy figuring out how to actually build the rest of this thing. Keep in mind, I can already see this is gonna take a crazy amount of juice. Like if you had a spare nuclear reactor handy, we could probably use it.
I have one in my
And
pocket.
it's going to be big. So find a nice open building site with lots of power available.
Look, I got this right here. How convenient. And boom. Hi, Sturgis. What do we need now?
How's it going? Did you find a good spot to build your signal interceptor?
Yep, right beside us.
Yeah. Ready to build the rest of it.
Good. I think I got a handle on this crazy contraption. At least as much as I can tell. Until we actually try to build it, here's a list of 3 things that may be harder to find. I think I'll be able to pull together everything else we're gonna need. I'll meet you over at the building site and see if we can actually make this thing work.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sturgis. I'll get right on this.
Good deal. One thing to keep in mind while you're building this, it all needs to be wired together so all the pieces can talk to each other. I'll see you over at the building site. Good luck.
Okay. All right, well, what do I need? All right. I am so glad I loot everything I see. This will look good right here. Part of me just didn't want that hanging across the ground. Plus, like I said, this is all temporary. You need 20 power. What do I got? 5, 10, 15. So I need to build one more. Yeah. Stick boy Corsair. I keep saying it wrong. I like to be funny. And now I just pronounce it wrong every time. Sure, what's up?
Okay.
We've just been traveling a while now, and I figured there hasn't exactly been equitable distribution of information. Gotten a decent glimpse into your dirty laundry, but you still don't really know a whole heck of a lot about me. I figured I'd offer to balance the board. So, is there anything you want to know?
So who are you, Nick?
That's a question I've been trying to figure out myself for a long damn time. I know I'm a synth, authentic Institute handiwork, but I'm still mechanical, not bioengineered like the fancy synths giving everyone the willies these days. I get tune-ups now instead of checkups. But my memories, my personality, they're all lifted from some cop who volunteered for an experiment back before the war. Scanned his brain and copied it onto the hardware that runs between my ears. Don't know why they chose to make a robot based on some pre-war cop instead of a math genius or a bioengineer.
Who knows?
Maybe that's why the Institute tossed me in the garbage instead of turning me into one of their people snatchers.
You're a robot?
Wait, you're a robot? What else have you been keeping from me?
Ah, well, I'm not sure if anyone told you, but there's been a war. Nothing big. I think we'll bounce back just fine.
I think so too. That's from my
Wait.
time?
The original Nick was from my time?
Sure was. Which meant when I finally ended up out here, it was quite the rude awakening. I remember
bet.
waking up one day in a garbage heap, a body in tatters and a head full of memories belonging to a man who'd been dead for 200 years. Suffice to say, it was a confusing couple of weeks. Folks didn't really know much about synths back then, so when I finally ran into people, they mostly treated me with caution rather than hostility. But the kids, they weren't afraid. I think his name was Jim. The first person to actually speak to me after I got the boot from the Institute. My first human contact in this world. Grilled me for an hour. Once they'd seen I wasn't going to hurt anyone, the other folks in the neighborhood came out to ogle the mechanical man. It eventually turned into a pretty swell soiree. The local mechanic even gave me a once-over free of charge. Those people, they treated me like a human being. I've been trying to return the favor ever since. It's a surprisingly rare trait out here sometimes. It's something I've noticed you got a fondness for. Part of the reason I've stuck around this long.
Aw. This is very true.
If you're good to people, they'll be good back. That's something I've always believed.
Couldn't agree more. Well, I expect you're about as bored as can be listening to me rattle my skeletons. We should probably head out.
Okay. Let's do this. So,
Everything looks good on my end. You ready to see if this thing actually works?
yep.
Let's do this.
You sure? Okay. Your part is simple. Just step onto the platform. I'll start scanning for an Institute signal to lock onto. Then, I fire her up and we see what happens.
Okay. That works for me.
Getting cold feet? I don't blame you.
Nope.
Okay, hold real still. I don't want any corruption of the molecular beam.
Okay, I won't move.
By the way, I figured this was a golden opportunity to find out as much as we can about the Institute and what they're up to. Yeah, this holotape's all set with a program that will scan their network and download anything it finds. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Yeah, we better hurry. And don't worry about that tubing wiggling around. It's, just there for decoration. Okay. Scanning for the Institute signal. Tracking RF. And... got it.
Bye,
Hold
Nick.
on to your butt.
Goodbye, my sweet prince. And I'm now in the Institute. Is Nick with me? No. Dang it. Do 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 do. You guys don't see me. Do do do. Go ahead and load this holotape. Network scanner. They won't know. This isn't suspicious at all. Hey.
Hello.
Oh, father.
I wondered if you might make it here. You're quite resourceful.
I tend to be.
I'm known as Father. The Institute is under my guidance. I know why you're here. I'd like to discuss things with you face to face. Please, step into the elevator.
Okay. Access denied.
I can only imagine what you've heard, what what you think of us.
Yeah, you guys are monsters.
I'd like to show you that you may have the wrong impression.
No, I'm pretty sure I have the right one.
Welcome to the Institute. This is the reality of the Institute. This place, these people, the work we do. For over 100 years, we've dedicated ourselves to humanity's survival. Decades of research, countless experiments and trials, a shared vision of how science can help shape the future. It has never been easy, and our actions are often misinterpreted by those above ground. Someday, perhaps, we can show them what we've accomplished. But for now, we must remain underground. There's too much at stake here to risk it all. As you've seen, things above are unstable.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I'd like to talk to you about what we can do for everyone. But that can wait. You are here for a specific, very personal reason. You are here for your son.
I am. The elevator didn't have a cool view. Shaun?
Shaun?
Huh? Yes, I'm Shaun.
Shaun? Oh my god. It's really you.
Who are you?
I'm your dad.
Shaun, it's me. I'm your dad.
Father, what's going on? What's happening?
Yes, it's me. Your dad. I'm here, Shaun.
What's going on? Father? Father!
Shh. It'll be okay, Shaun. I'm here
I
now.
don't know you. Go away. Father! Father, help me! There's someone here. Help me!
Please, Shaun. I'm your father. Talk to me. Just open the door.
Father? Father, help me! He's trying to take me! Father? Father, help me!
Shaun. S923, recall code Cirrus. Fascinating, but disappointing. The child's responses were not at all what I anticipated. He's a prototype, you understand.
I don't,
We're
though.
only just now beginning to explore the effects of extreme emotional stimuli. Please try and keep an open mind. I recognize that you are emotional, and that your journey here has been fraught with challenges.
That's an understatement.
Let's start anew. I am Father. Welcome to the Institute.
Father? That's your name? Your title?
Father is my unofficial title. It's what I've come to mean to the people of the Institute, just as you mean to your son, to Shaun.
Help me understand.
Just... help me understand what's going on here.
I promised answers, and answers you shall have. But I need you to realize that this situation is far more complicated than you could have imagined. You have traveled very far, and suffered a great deal to find your son. Well, your tenacity and dedication have been rewarded. It's good to finally meet you, after all this time. It's me. I am Shaun.
You look nothing like me.
I am your son.
How is that even possible?
I know this is a lot to take in. In the vault, you had no concept of the passage of time. You were released from your pod and went searching for the son you'd lost. But then you learned that your son was no longer an infant. but a 10-year-old boy. You believed that 10 years had passed. Is it really so hard to accept that it was not 10, but 60 years? That is the reality. And here I am, raised by the Institute, and now its leader.
You were stolen. That makes sense.
Hell of a story. But I guess it does make sense.
I'm glad you're willing to accept the truth. It's quite encouraging. At that time, the year 2227, the Institute had made great strides in synth production. But it was never enough. Scientific curiosity and the goal of perfection drove them ever onward. What they wanted was the perfect machine. So they followed the best example thus far. The human being. Walking, talking, fully articulate, capable of anything.
They needed specimens.
So the weird science experiments needed specimens. That's why they took you.
In a manner of speaking. Yes. The Institute endeavored to create synthetic organics. The most logical starting point, of course, was human DNA. Plenty of that was available, of course. But it had all become corrupted. In this wasteland, radiation affected everyone. Even in their attempts to shield themselves from the world above, members of the Institute had been exposed. Another source was necessary. But then the Institute found me, after discovering records from Vault 111. An infant, frozen in time, protected from the radiation-induced mutations that had crept into every other human cell in the Commonwealth. I was exactly what they needed. And so it was my DNA that became the basis of the synthetic organics used to create every human-like synth you see today. I am their father. Through science, we are family. The synths, me, and you.
It's really you.
Shaun. It's really you.
It really is.
Kellogg. He worked for you?
Kellogg. He was an Institute asset long before I arrived here. It wasn't until I became director that I learned of all the things he'd done. What kind of man he was.
But you still used him.
You knew the man was a psychopath, but you used him anyway?
Would you have preferred that I turned him loose on the Commonwealth? At least keeping him on a short leash kept the collateral damage to a minimum. The Institute took advantage of Kellogg's vicious nature. I will freely admit that. Institute technology prolonged his life, and his usefulness far beyond any normal human lifespan. He never failed the Institute, but his cruelty became more apparent with every completed objective. I won't lie. It's no coincidence your path crossed his. It seemed a fitting way to allow you, us, to have some amount of revenge. What else can I say to ease your mind?
Your mother.
Your mother. She never got to see you grow up?
Yes. What happened to her was... I've gone over the records of the incident, of course. It seems her death was an unfortunate bit of collateral damage.
Collateral damage? Is that all she was to you?
I forget that it's been such a short time for you.
True.
I don't have any direct memories. And I've had my entire life to cope with the loss. Has it always been easy? Of course not. But I've done my best to move on and live my life. For many years, I never questioned who my parents were. I accepted my situation, and that was that. With old age comes regret. And asking what if more often. But what matters now is that you and I have a chance to begin again. What else can I say to ease your mind?
The Institute.
So you're in charge of the Institute?
I am the acting director, yes. I spent decades working to reach this point. It's a responsibility I take very seriously.
I'm sure you do.
It's important. It really is humanity's best hope for the future, no matter what those above ground might think of.
Scared of you.
They're scared of you, Shaun. Scared of the Institute.
People are always frightened by what they don't understand.
No, it's you kidnapping and
Ultimately,
killing
the
people.
Commonwealth has nothing to fear from us. Whatever you've seen or heard, I know I can convince you of that.
They
Just
can't.
give me time. I know
Nope.
there's more for us to discuss.
But
But the Institute is on the verge of some important breakthroughs. Your presence would be appreciated as we approach them. I've been a part of something amazing here. I've helped to build a life for myself and the people of the Institute. And now, after all these years, you have an opportunity to help with that. Doesn't that intrigue you? Isn't that what you want?
that's what you want. No. Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. This is so much to take in.
I know. And I am sorry. You have been through so much in such a short time. The Institute can provide a better life than anything above ground. You've been in the Commonwealth. You've seen what it's like. I assure you that you are better off with us.
Debatable.
I don't know what to do.
I realize that. It's why I'm trying to help you. I hope that you can see that rationally. The Institute is the only thing left in the world that is worth being part of. I simply ask that you give the Institute, me, a chance. A chance to show you what I've been telling you. We really do have humanity's best interest at heart. Will you take that chance?
I just don't know.
Just give it time. Give the Institute a chance.
Okay, well, let me actually give it a
The Institute is now
chance.
your home as much as it is mine. Please take some time, get to know it. Meet the people you'll be working with. You'll want to introduce yourself to the division heads. Dr. Fillmore in facilities, Dr. Ao in SRB, Dr. Holdren in bioscience, and finally Dr. Lee in advanced systems. They've all been notified of your arrival, of course. Meet them, and then we'll discuss what comes next.
I made it into the Institute. God, look at that thick boy. I made it into the Institute. And I'm siding with them. Spoiler alert. So, we'll see where it goes from there. And so thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, or dislike. Hey, you do you. And I will see you later. Bye. You, Shaun. Bye.